Hi everyone and welcome to episode...
Who even knows what we're at? We lost count.
I don't know.
I don't even know what day it is.
It's Tuesday.
14, 15, 16 we're at?
Maybe 14. I think 14. Well, anyway, this is our first one of DNA. We are finally done with the body systems.
So we're getting into a big unit about genetics. We're starting with DNA and RNA, just with structure and function. That's today. And then we're going to move on to DNA replication, protein synthesis, and some other cool stuff.
Get out your pencils, your pens, your colored pencils. Because you have to do drawing again.
Well, we hope you guys have fun, and we hope you learn a lot.
DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA contains a 5-carbon sugar, or deoxyribose, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base. DNA is the genetic material for most organisms, including but not limited to plants, fish, and people. DNA has a pretty cool shape. It's shaped like a twisted ladder, which is called a double helix. Its unique shape is essential to its function. It's made up of 2 long strands that are made up of DNA. As you can see here, there's one that's blue and one that's purple. DNA is a polymer, meaning that it's a really, really big molecule. Its monomers, or building blocks, are called nucleotides. Alright, now I need you to go back into your memory about the cell. Remember, there's that thing called a nucleus. That's where DNA is found. And last but not least, DNA was discovered in the 1950s by Rosalind Franklin, James Watson, and Francis Crick. Let's discuss the function of DNA. DNA is the blueprint for the body, which means that it provides written instructions and code that gives directions for building the body.
Now let's talk about how DNA is arranged. Long strands of DNA are found in the nucleus because it's too big of a molecule to get out of the nuclear pores. DNA is organized into chromosomes, and in humans there are 46 of them in a regular body cell. Now let's talk about chromosomes. Each chromosome has anywhere between tens to hundreds of genes depending on its size. Generally, each gene will code for one protein, or give the instructions for one protein, which then will give you one trait. Let's talk about some examples, like the gene for height. The height gene gives the instructions to help the body make the protein, which we call human growth hormone. This then gives you the trait, which is your height. Another example would be your skin color gene, which gives instructions for your body to make the melanin protein. Your melanin protein then will give you your unique skin complexion. Now we need to go over a really common Regents question about how genetic material is organized. Least complex just means small, and most complex just means large. So genetic material is organized from largest to smallest, starting with the base pairs. Your base pairs are A, T, G, and C. When you take a bunch of base pairs and you put them together, you get a gene. Then, when you put a bunch of genes together, you get a chromosome. You take a bunch of chromosomes together, they make up DNA, and that goes into the nucleus.
Nucleotides are monomers of DNA. DNA is a polymer, meaning it's made up of many parts. Those many parts just so happen to be nucleotides. A nucleotide is made up of 3 parts: a phosphate, a sugar, and a nitrogenous base. When the 2 strands of nucleotides are connected, they make a DNA. These nucleotide or DNA strands are connected by the bases. There's a specific pairing rule to connect them. A pairs to T, and G pairs to C. Alright, let's practice this for ourselves. So we have one DNA strand that's labeled TCGA CCATA. Let's start with our first base. The first one is T, so we know that our matching base has to be A. Our next is C, our matching has to be G. After that it's G, so our matching has to be C. After that it's A, so our matching has to be T. As you can see, A and T always go together, and G and C always go together. Never forget that rule. Alright, let's do one more practice. This DNA strand says TTG, TAC, GTA, GAA. Okay, now pause the video and I want you to try and figure this out for yourself before you go further. Remember, A connects to T and G connects to C. When you're done doing that, press play and see what I wrote to check your answer. Alright, so now let's check your answer. It should be AAC, ATG, CAT, and CTT. Last but not least is DNA replication. So right before mitosis or meiosis, a cell must copy all of its DNA before it divides. It does this by splitting the two strands and then adding new nucleotides to the existing strand. You end up with two identical DNA strands. In order to do this, you must use the base pairing rule. All right, folks, thanks for watching this episode on DNA. We hope it clarified some things for you. We know that you've been reading a lot of stuff, so if you weren't fully clarified, let us know.
Yep. Send us a DM on Instagram, or you can leave us a comment here, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Or even email us.
Or email.
We just want to hear from you.
We miss you.
All right, everyone. See you next time at the sunny side.